What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna spit some truth, some hardcore facts about being in small business, and I hope this provides some value to you guys, because this will be a certain dilemma that you face when you open your own small business. All right, let's get into this video. Thanks for coming by as always. So to give you some background, if anyone is new here, thank you for coming to this channel first and foremost. We are a channel based all on small business and personal finance. I've owned this grocery store for about 4 years now. We built it from the ground up. And today is a day that I decided to share with you guys. It's more of a personal dilemma that most people would kind of keep to themselves. But it's still related to small business, obviously. And I'm very transparent with all the money that goes in and out of this business, our salaries. So yeah, this is where we're at today. And if you find any value in this video, please hit that like button down below. It gets this video to other people who are in the same position as you and just kind of spreads the word a little better. So on January 1st, 2018, my lease started for a 5-year lease at a pretty competitive rate, I would say. And now 4 years later, we are in the last year of our lease. It was 5 years. And we are really trying to figure out what the next step is for us. So last week I got the phone call from the landlord saying, you know, what is your plan? We need to know if you're going to be re-signing for another 5 years. This is the option that you wanted when you signed the lease in the first place. And I'm going to get into that a little bit better, because I want you guys to protect yourselves in the future when you sign your lease. So when you sign a commercial lease, it'll be usually for around three years minimum, 5, 10. I did 5. I really didn't want to commit to anything more than that. So you're probably wondering, why the hell would you sign a 5-year lease? Why would you commit to such a long-term lease when it's so risky being in business? For all, most businesses really don't make it past their first or second year, and the food business is really just as severe as that statistic. So what was the rationale behind signing a 5-year lease? Well, considering we spent about $80,000 to $90,000 building this, what you see here from the ground up, we knew we were committed to being in this space for at least 3 years. And the landlord wasn't going to let the 3-year lease be a thing. So we really wanted to lock in a negotiation with him. So we had to commit to a 5-year lease, because he originally wanted a 10-year lease that I was definitely not going to sign. At the end of the day, you have to consider, when you are taking a lease from a landlord, even if you did it for 1 year and then the landlord said, okay, I need this space for something else, you have no protection. You just don't feel as safe. So when you commit to a business, taking the 5-year lease, after you've already spent almost $100,000 like us, we knew that it was the right move for us, because we knew we wouldn't be able to be kicked out for 5 years. We knew he couldn't hike the rent up in the 5-year span. And you know what? Fortunately, I'm here still talking to you guys, still telling you about small business. And we made it to the end of our lease. Even if we close the doors till December, we have enough money to cover the rent for the next, year, 2 years. We did okay here. We worked our whatever off, but at the end of the day, I'm fortunate enough to say we made it this far. And I say that because a lot of businesses aren't fortunate enough to say that. They tried their hardest, they did the research, but evidently there was something missing, or the market wasn't ready for their idea, and they lost it all. They went bankrupt, they still owe their landlords, whatever it is. I'm fortunate enough to be still standing here. Let's just sum it up like that. So usually when you sign a lease, and what we've learned is you're given an option to renew the same lease again, and there will be adjustments in the rates or the common fees or the taxes, but we were given the option to renew for another 5 years, plus another option to renew another time. So we took both, and that's our option. We're given the first choice on the space when our lease does run out. And I advise anybody to just take that option. It can't hurt you. If your business is going good at the end of the 5 years, you have the option to keep the space, keep your business running for, the next 3, 4, 5 years. And then you have the option to potentially put it for sale, which we're going to get into on this video. Now, speaking of that option, that's the stage I'm at. And when you get into your own small business, you're going to be at this threshold, guaranteed 100% of the time. It will come up at the end of your lease on what you're going to do next. Are you going to take this thing to the next level? Are you going to commit to the next 3 years of your life to really expand this? Are you going to go for a next location? Are you going to grow the business, in a bigger space and move? Or are you going to say, you know what, this place took enough of my life. It was great. It was a good experience, but I need to move on. That's the position we're at right now. And I read a comment once, and it's 100% right in one perspective. It said this: you are impatient and greedy. You've only been in this business for 4 years, and you already want more and more and more. Well, let me paint the other side. And you're not wrong, okay? I am being impatient, but let me paint the other side of the picture for you. So we've been running this small business for about 4 years now. We've attracted the people that are interested in this 5 kilometer radius. When you own a small place, a small restaurant, a cafe, or a grocery store like this, you're going to attract people in the surrounding area more than outside of the area, unless you become a destination spot, which is something completely different. With that being said, Felicia and I have dedicated about 70 hours a week to this business for the last 4 years. We've taken some extra days off here and there. We have our Mondays off that we still come in and do inventory, which we're doing right now. Felicia's stocking the shelves, and I make a video every single Monday. So if you're interested, please subscribe down below. But unless we are willing to take on a second location, risk another probably 100,000 to maybe even more, this space has a limited revenue that I don't believe can grow at a fast enough rate to justify the amount of work that's entailed. So now I'm left with 2 options. Okay, we either expand the store and risk, growing another location and really, giving this thing a real go and seeing what happens in our future. Or the more likely plan, unfortunately, is to negotiate my next 5 years with the landlord at a competitive rate. We have a good relationship with them. They've been good to us. We've been good to them. And then in a year from now, put it on the market for sale to someone who has an interest in being in the grocery business. And I know what you guys are saying, but Ray, they're just going to be buying themselves a job. You worked yourself to the bone. Why didn't you hire people? Unfortunately, a place this small, most likely you're going to be buying yourself a job. And there is people that are interested in buying themselves a job because they don't want to be part of the labor market. They don't want to have coworkers. They don't want to deal with bosses, managers. They want to be their own boss. They want to be self-employed. They know the perks of being self-employed, and they are in a position in their life that it all makes sense for them. So that's where this business fits for that type of person. Is that market a huge market where people are looking to, buy a grocery store or take on a profitable turnkey grocery store? Maybe. I haven't tested that market yet, but that's what we're going to find out in the next coming months, the next maybe half a year. And, the other thing too is, I've dedicated 24/7 of my life to this place for the last 4 years. And, I still love what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, it's like, how much can you really, live like this? How long can I live like this, waiting for this place to really grow, where it can be self-sufficient with employees, where I don't have to work 24/7, where I can take more than a day off or 2 if I'm lucky? How long do we really want to dedicate this to? How long do I want to push back, starting a family, because we're going to be here 24/7. And unless, we're raising a kid in the back room and he can help me cut peppers, how long do I really want to wait on this? Is this the perfect time to sell this at the end of the lease? Do I negotiate a new lease? There's so many questions that you guys will face when you start your own business that this one is a fortunate one to have, where I have a choice on whether to sell or to expand. It is sad because, I don't, want to give this thing away for free, and we've poured blood, sweat, and tears into this place. But yeah, this is the threshold that every entrepreneur gets to. You know, do we really want to risk it again and, you know, do this all over again and start for 5 years on another location? Because at the end of the day, this place is limited in revenue, and any small business owner would tell you, unless you have 1, 2, 3 locations to be competitive, you know, to split your revenue across employees, to, you know, grow one while the other one's still growing, it's very, very hard to justify in one small location like this. You know, as the saying goes, you don't own a small business, the small business owns you. And, you know, I know there's many people out there that are going to tell me, you know, my parents had a deli, my parents had a store, I know so-and-so that had a, you know, a small business, a corner store, they had employees, they were running it, it was fine. Ask yourself really if you think a small store with 3-4 employees is really making any money at the end of the year. Or they may be making some money, but is it justifiable to be 24/7 all the time, even with 2-3 employees? Just because you have people working here doesn't mean you're always on doing things, running the place, covering their shifts, managing, you know, employee drama, or if they don't show up. It never really ends. Just, you know, it may look glamorous on the outside, it may look easy on the outside, it may look fun, and it is all those things, trust me, but it always looks better from the outside. I'm not trying to discourage anybody with this video. I'm trying to give you guys the reality on what it takes to actually, you know, get to the next level, because this is exactly what every small business owner will tell you. You know, you can stay a mom and pop shop forever. Maybe you will be happy doing that. And a lot of people are satisfied in that. But at what point, you know, is it, there's no work-life balance anymore, and it's not even, you know, really making you more money than you would working down the street at a minimum wage job? You got to ask yourself all these questions. And, you know, I've come to terms with a lot of them over the last year and a half when this place really got profitable, but it still took 24/7 of, you know, our lives pretty much. Well, it was a realistic, kind of a sad video this week, but I want to give you guys the full picture of being in small business, because most people I talk to, they have these ideas, you know, they're going to open a business, hire a bunch of people, go do something else, invest in real estate while the business is running itself. If they need to do an order, they'll call it in. It's just so far from the truth. And if you guys are watching this video, trust me, I'm not glamorizing any part of it, or I'm telling you exactly how it is. And you know what? We've had great times here. It's been fun. It's nice being your own boss. But now we need to make the hard decision if we're going to really invest in this place and keep it going, or we're going to sell it off. And you're going to come to that threshold too. And I've talked to maybe a dozen business owners that had to deal with that position too. And some of them stay as a mom and pop shop forever, and that's fine. It shouldn't be looked down upon. But if you're in the position we are, you know, a young couple, you know, who may want to expand their family and have kids, it just gets 10 times harder justifying a place like this. Especially, you know, when we both have careers that could potentially make almost double what we're doing now. So, you know, you have to decide, are you in it for the long term, or are you ready to move on? That's what we're going to figure out. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope I gave you some value, and we'll see you next week.